Hey, what's going on, everybody? Welcome back to this episode of Big and Little with me, Aaron, 49ers First Takes, and my co host, Amin the Dream. We were trying to figure out some technical difficulties before, so thank you for bearing with us. Those of you who have jumped in here, or are going to jump in here, or are going to watch this on the replay. You guys already know what we're going to talk about, so we're just going to jump into the topic of CMC, Christian McCaffrey. Everything's official. He got his physical today. He was introduced, all that good stuff. I'm going to ask Amin, and then I'll get on it after. What was your initial reaction hearing the news last night?
I was hyped. I'll be honest, right? I didn't think they were gonna land McCaffrey. I didn't even think they were gonna I thought they were gonna try to at least make an attempt for McCaffrey, but I was like, all right, knowing the 49ers in the past and knowing under the Shanahan and Lynch regime, this team doesn't really go after star players or, make trades for like big time players. The only last time we saw that was with Emmanuel Sanders, and we went on to, go and play in the Super Bowl against the Chiefs, who were playing this Sunday. But it's not really common for the 49ers to go out and get, a big player either via trade or via free agency. So when I saw this move, I was static. Like, I was losing my mind, jumping up and down, was listening to Bang Bang Niner Gang for like 10 seconds. Like, I was doing my thing a little bit. But I'm happy the 49ers made a trade. It is a risk, I would say. It definitely is a risk considering McCaffrey's injury history. So initially I was super excited about it, and I am still excited about it because of the upside that McCaffrey can bring to this offense. But at the same time, we know McCaffrey is an injury-prone player who has had injuries in the past. So we'll see what happens with this whole McCaffrey and the Niners situation, and if he can stay healthy for the Niners. But initially, I loved Kyle Shanahan and John Lynch being aggressive, going out and making a move, and getting a guy like Christian McCaffrey who can elevate this offense and hopefully put them over the top. So I personally love this move. I just hope it pays off for the 49ers in the long run.
With any move, though, there's always going to be risks.
Yeah,
I actually looked at a tweet of someone who put out the injuries that he's had, and none of them have been super, like, really concerning. A lot of strains and sprains type stuff. I think you're right. If healthiness happens and he can stay healthy, this is like one of those players that I think Kyle Shanahan has been secretly kind of jonesing for a long time, because he can run the ball and he can catch the ball out of the backfield, and he causes matchup nightmares, and that's what you want, especially with Devo. I feel like Devo can go back to being an actual wide receiver. Maybe we don't have to use him in the backfield as much. It's going to be interesting to see. Kyle gets the genius tag, but let's see if he can actually cook up some stuff in the lab that people haven't seen now that he's got a guy like Christian McCaffrey. I worry about the injuries too, but I mean, that's kind of the Niners in a nutshell. So he got in really late this week, so he's not going to know much of the playbook. There is talk of goal line and, red zone type stuff that they might use him on, but knowing Kyle and knowing football, he might just have a package of plays where, when he comes in, they're going to use those plays, and maybe we see him more. I don't know. I do think he's going to play. I thought that they gave up a lot as far as picks goes, but if you go look at what we have after the fact with all the compensation picks, or is it compensation?
Yep, it's comp picks for Robert.
We're not doing too bad. And then, of course, you go into 2024 and, we have a first rounder again and all that stuff. My brother made a good point. He's a Dolphins fan. Everybody knows that. I talk about him all the time. He thinks that the Niners are a pretty complete team. So it's not like, all these draft picks that we try to harness all the time. The Niners are at a point right now where, draft picks can become equity for a trade. And this isn't a one-year rental from what Kyle Shanahan was saying. From what it sounds like, they're going to re-sign him and they're going to keep him here. This isn't going to be a one-year deal and then they let him go. So
no way. If Kyle Shanahan made this trade, he would not let him go after 1 year. Like, there's no way.
If he could somehow spread reps between everybody, he'll keep everybody fresh. You know what I mean? It's weird. You think like, okay, now we got this guy that we could take reps away from. If they can spread the ball and use his matchup as a diversion tactic or a way to have defenses thinking too much. That's what you want, right? And then other guys can feed. We saw what Ayuk did last week when he actually got the ball, which was kind of nice. And I'm going to touch on that with you in a little bit. But I was very, very. I had to. What I did is I saw it on Twitter, and I saw it was Ian Rappaport. And you know how people make fake accounts where it looks just like the real one, but then you go and you look at it and you say, okay, he's not verified or this or that. So I saw it. I saw it again. And then my brother's like, hey, he had ESPN on and they confirmed it. So I'm like, okay. So I went and made a couple of those little short 1 minute TikTok style videos on YouTube just to be like my initial reaction, which I thought, I'm excited, but I'm always, measured with my excitement because I like you said, the injuries are something that I'm definitely thinking about, but hopefully we don't, hopefully that doesn't happen. And I'm shocked that the Niners made a move at the deadline. I'm pleasantly surprised and very happy. And we'll see, man. We're gonna see. We have 2 more days, and then we'll watch on Sunday. We're going against an offense that lost to the Buffalo Bills, so they're going to be pissed off. They're really, really good. This is a game that the Niners don't necessarily need. Like me and Jesse were talking about, you want to win your division game the week after before the bye. If you wanted to select a game that you'd rather lose, I'd rather win both of them. But this would be an awesome get. This would be an awesome game to win, considering what we just did and considering who we're playing against. So I was very, very happy about it. And now we just got to wait and see what happens. It's going to be, it'll be fun. This 49er team, from what they're saying, from when I guess John Lynch or Kyle talked to the team, they're kind of going with the 2019 mentality. So they have like that thought of like when they made the Emmanuel Sanders trade, kind of the same thing going on right now. So be interesting.
Yep, and it's going on all around Twitter and even ESPN and things like that. But now the 49ers have a wide receiver. Obviously, they had Debo who could play running back, and now they have a running back in Christian McCaffrey
who can play wide receiver,
slot and play whatever in the wide receiver, and it's a complete mismatch against linebackers. So this 49ers offense has all the talent in the world. Now it's Kyle. What are you gonna do with all this talent? What are you gonna think up? What are you gonna think up, and how are you gonna utilize all this talent? Because Niners team, like we all know it, this team was already talented. But now adding another dimension to the offense with Christian McCaffrey, the sky's the limit for this offense.
Yeah.
Obviously, now there are still limitations because of Jimmy G, but when you have a guy like Christian McCaffrey that can take a check down and take it for 65 yards, I mean, that's huge. That's huge. Going back to the NFC Championship game last year, the last play on the 49ers offensive drive was Jimmy missing it high or went through the running back's hand, and it was an interception, game over. Christian McCaffrey, a lot of the time, is going to come down with that football and can take it and give you at least 10, 15 plus yards. It can make something happen out of nothing. So now having Christian McCaffrey this offense, if he can stay healthy, this offense can really be special. And this offense can also be a strength of this team if they can just, have some chemistry, build some chemistry. But I'm really excited, especially after this trade. When Trey Lance got hurt and, coming off the loss to Atlanta, my mood was kind of down. Obviously, losing Trey Lance, my excitement wasn't there. But now that we have Christian McCaffrey on the team, I mean, my excitement level just went way up, right? Because now we have Christian McCaffrey to look forward to, and the sky's the limit for this offense. So I'm definitely more interested about the season and for this season with the Christian McCaffrey trade.
Absolutely. I just want to say hi to the chat real quick. We have Raphael562. He says, what's up, Aaron and Amin, the Dream, and everyone. Frank Tom Ocean, a longtime supporter of the channel. Yo, Aaron, happy Friday. Definitely. Damian Lee is in here. He says, what's up, Niner family? Of course, we have Mariah from 49er Faithfully, always here supporting me in the stream. She's a ride or die, man. She's here all the time. I didn't see her. Apparently, she had a lot to say after the last game, and Bashar has told me about it. I have to go and watch it. Either that or somebody needs to share the link with me. As I heard, her and whoever was on the panel with her really lit into some 49er ass on Sunday or whenever the show was. So I definitely have to check that out. Of course, Brian Culp, is here, always here supporting. I've seen Brian Culp on a couple channels. I think I might need to have him on here eventually. This maybe is part of a roundtable or add him to one of my shows. I've seen him on. I've seen. I'm trying to think who I've seen. There's another long timer that comes in here all the time that is I've seen starting to appear on other people's shows, which I think is great. I'm glad that people are getting the chance to have their voice be heard and get away from being shy on camera and just do it, man. And it's fun and it's enjoyable. So, where we got here? Tito Johnson in here. He says, "Great show, guys. I appreciate that very much." And yeah, so to me, this move only works if the Niners get a deep playoff run this year and can do some damage in the playoffs. My biggest concern, more than injury or anything else, is Jimmy Garoppolo. He's the weak link in this whole situation. And I'm not trying to make this about him, nor do I want to spend a whole lot of time on it. But there's people, they have this new pitcher and they have, McCaffrey and McCaffrey and Debo and Ayuk and a lot, and Jimmy's in there. And I saw a video from Sersky from Real Talk Niner Talk. He's like, if you're going to show this, crop out, and he has the pitcher cropping out Jimmy Garoppolo to make sure that we don't give him or add him to part of this new trio or whatever, these guys that are all playmakers on the team. And that's the biggest thing that worries me. Jimmy Garoppolo to me is kind of he can really he can either make us sink or swim with this acquisition.
Yeah.
I don't know if this helps him. I mean, in a way, I guess it can because Jimmy Garoppolo lives and dies by the slants and the screens. So this fits right up his alley. But I see matchup issues for defenses that may cause the Niners to have a little bit more definable reads on certain throws, and maybe guys will have more one-on-one coverage, or guys will have, like I said, the matchups will be easier for him to identify because now we got a guy like McCaffrey in the backfield who's going to take attention away from the defense. So we'll see. Running like, say, a screen a couple times and then getting the defense's attention, you get the linebackers moving one way, and then you could have somebody run behind that, where the linebacker vacates. So that's the kind of stuff I'm looking to see. I know Kyle is a matchup guru. He loves to, run plays off of plays, where like one play leads into the next, so on and so forth. So be interesting to see. I don't think we're going to see a ton this Sunday. I think we'll see more against the Rams, but after the bye week where he's been here a couple weeks and he's been able to digest the playbook, I think we're going to see an interesting offensive 49ers team if and only if they can stay healthy.
Yep, and you mentioned a great point about Jimmy Garoppolo, is that even with Christian McCaffrey, I think it definitely helps to have a guy like Christian McCaffrey. But Jimmy, it's always those mistakes, right?
Yeah.
It's Jimmy, like, and you mentioned it, I was going to say it. Like, they're putting Jimmy Garoppolo in pictures with all these 49ers receivers and Christian McCaffrey, and I'm like, if you're going to put anybody up there, Jimmy shouldn't be up there. You should put Trent up there, right? Because Trent is another offensive stud. So if you're talking about the offense, Trent should be up there, not Jimmy Garoppolo. Because if there's anything, I'll be honest, right, and I definitely agree with you. If there's anything holding back this offense or this team to be, win the Super Bowl this year, or the one question mark, it's Jimmy Garoppolo. Injury and Jimmy Garoppolo. Health and Jimmy Garoppolo. Because time and time again, we've seen Jimmy Garoppolo in crucial moments make crucial mistakes. And like I said it on the stream a couple of weeks ago, like that Dallas game, we should have blown Dallas out in the playoffs.
Yep.
But Jimmy G had the interception, and then became a closer game, and then they almost won it. Obviously, they didn't win, but it was more competitive than it should have been, right? So Jimmy Garoppolo is realistically the only thing that's holding this team back, and that's the only question mark going into the playoffs, going into if the Niners make it to the Super Bowl, is that will Jimmy Garoppolo have a clean game, or will Jimmy Garoppolo screw up and make mistakes? Because you never know. You really don't know with Jimmy Garoppolo, because Jimmy Garoppolo's consistency is like up and down. Some weeks he'll have phenomenal weeks like he had against the Rams and in Carolina, and in certain weeks he'll have like against the Broncos. You never know with Jimmy Garoppolo. Even last year, in that 2021 49ers run when we came back from 3-5, there would be games where Jimmy Garoppolo wouldn't throw an interception, like the Rams game. And then a week later, we go down to Seattle, and Jimmy Garoppolo's playing atrociously and throwing picks to linebackers. Then another week, Jimmy Garoppolo has a decent game in Cincinnati. And then another week, he's struggling and we lose to Tennessee. Like, Jimmy Garoppolo's performances are so up and down that you never know on a particular week which Jimmy you'll get. Will you get good Jimmy or will you get average to below average, mediocre Jimmy? You never know with Jimmy Garoppolo. So if there's realistically anything that's a question mark for this team to be, for this team to, potentially make it to the Super Bowl or the playoffs, or if we make it against the Eagles in the NFC Championship game, it's injuries and health, and it's Jimmy Garoppolo. Because if there's anything that really is a question mark or holding back the Niners offense in a way, it's Jimmy Garoppolo.
I think the thing that really makes me sad is that I see the pictures with Jimmy and all I could think of is Trey.
Yes.
Oh,
yes.
man. I
Oh,
told my
man.
brother, I was like, how dangerous once Trey gets the game and gets better and was, he matures, how dangerous would they be?
This could have been the game. Like, this probably would have been the game. Trey Lance, Mahomes, they would probably have to throw the football more.
Right. It would have been this like coming of age game where
it would have been the game, right? Like, Trey Lance has to throw the football more. He's already had 7 weeks in this offense. Like, this was the game that I marked down on my calendar, Lance versus Mahomes. And then especially if we had Christian McCaffrey with a healthy Trey Lance, I would have been like, I literally can't wait till Sunday comes because I'm so looking forward to it. And I definitely agree with you. Like, seeing those pictures of Jimmy, I'm like, all I'm thinking of, like, what if, right? What if Trey Lance played this year? What if he had the opportunity? Because by week 7, he probably should be getting more comfortable week by week. And this week, they could have pulled out all the stops and just, Trey Lance would have gone off and he would have hopefully silenced the doubters this game. And we have a great win, a statement win against the Chiefs, or we beat the Chiefs. All these things started picturing in my head, but it sucks that he got hurt, man. It really does.
He was one of the first people to tweet after it happened too.
Yep.
I don't know if you noticed. Yeah, he's that would have been something, man. It would have been like old lion, or it would have been young lion versus slightly older lion. Because I can't say old lion yet for Mahomes because he's still pretty damn young. But I mean, they're going to keep him. It looks like after this year, they're going to do some sort of finagling with the cap, guaranteed money, this, that, and the other, dead years, all that stuff. The Niners are really good at that kind of stuff. So, I mean, he'll get his chance to use him next year if he can stay healthy. I know Damian Lee keeps saying that we need a backup quarterback. We do have one. He's playing right now.
Can I address something real quick, though? Is that I agree, right? Like, it obviously is great to have a backup quarterback, but realistically, you're not winning a Super Bowl with a backup quarterback, right? And Jimmy Garoppolo
very rarely.
Yeah,
maybe
right?
the Giants of '91 with Hostetler or Nick Foles a couple years ago. It just doesn't happen all the time.
It doesn't happen that often, right? So Jimmy Garoppolo is our backup right now, but I don't know who you could get right now, or the Niners would make a trade if Jimmy Garoppolo goes down for another. I don't know who you would necessarily bring in, right?
Right.
And that's the thing, right? Like, some people might throw around Nick Foles. What Nick Foles did that year was phenomenal.
Yep.
That was magical. And then you go into the regular season and Nick Foles is just average. But that one playoff series, that one playoff year was just magical by Nick Foles. So if you expect Nick Foles to come into the Niners and they make a trade for him and Jimmy Garoppolo gets hurt and he has a miraculous year again, and then we go and play Buffalo or Kansas City in the Super Bowl, hypothetically, I don't see that. I don't really see that miracle happening. I don't even see us trading for Nick Foles, but I don't see us beating the Bills with Nick Foles unless something miraculous happen, right? So I think it's great to have, depth at any position, but the odds of you winning a Super Bowl with any backup quarterback is not high. It's really not. It's not high.
Niners at the point they're at a third string quarterback, their season's pretty much lost. I'm not saying that Brock Purdy can't come in and do some things, but I mean, let's be honest. The guy was the last pick in the draft. So you got to, and although a lot of people are always excited about the next man, they're always excited about the next man. I remember when 49er fans wanted to see David Carr after, Alex Smith was playing horrible in that one Monday night game where he got benched by Coach Singletary. And then, Carr wasn't any better. So I wish we could have a backup quarterback too, but I don't see it in the cards, and I don't see really anybody out there worth making a move for. The only person I wish was still playing is Fitzpatrick, because that would be the only guy that I could see the 49ers like coming in, and he's just weirdly good for a while until people figure him out, and then he kind of becomes the other Fitzpatrick. But that would be the only guy I would say, okay, let's make a move for him. But he is retired. He's on a panel on Thursday night. And the Niners just got to have to figure out, do what they, make do with what they have. And I think they have enough. It's just we got to get Jimmy to play consistent. So, speaking of real quickly, we touched on it already, but the 49ers offensive woes, they've been pretty bad, not scoring in the second half, only 14 points last week. I'm going to ask you this, but we all kind of already know the answer, seeing that we traded for McCaffrey. What is it going to take for the 49ers to break out of their offensive slump? Is it the signing of McCaffrey? Is it getting back to running the ball effectively? Is Trent Williams possibly playing on Sunday going to be the difference? Like, what do you see as the issue? Or is it just a matter of, teams know what Jimmy Garoppolo and the 49ers are, and they play him straight up, and the Niners can't really seem to make other teams pay?
I think teams already expect, right? Like, I think teams already expect when you're playing the 49ers and Jimmy Garoppolo, when he's under center for the 49ers, stop that run game and have Jimmy Garoppolo throw the football. And Atlanta did a phenomenal job of doing that. And I won't knock Jimmy Garoppolo, because I thought Jimmy Garoppolo didn't play bad. I thought the receivers could have caught some passes, and Jimmy Garoppolo, as much as I'm not his number one fan, I thought he made some nice passes that receivers and tight ends should have come down with. Speaking of Ray McLeod and speaking of Charlie Warner.
Yep.
But the thing about this offense is that if you stop the run, and even going back to last year in the beginning of the season, the Niners run game wouldn't be super efficient, and they weren't able to run the football effectively. And then Jimmy Garoppolo would have to throw the football 30, 40 more times. And a lot of the games, the Niners would lose those games in the beginning of the year, if you go back and look at some of those games. When the Niners can get run game going, they get into rhythm offensively, the run game is going, they're getting, at least 4 yards per carry, or the run game is able to get going. Jimmy Garoppolo doesn't make too many mistakes, and the offense just basically gets into a rhythm. This team offensively does way better, and a lot of the time they come out with a victory that specific week. So obviously I think the Christian McCaffrey, trade definitely helps. Getting Trent Williams definitely helps. But this offense just has to get back into a rhythm of what they're good at, which is running the football effectively, pounding the football down teams' throats, and having Jimmy Garoppolo throw a limited amount of passes, right? 20 to 25 passes a game, and Jimmy Garoppolo don't make mistakes on those passes, especially in crucial moments. And if the 49ers offense can get into a rhythm offensively, I think this team and this offense can definitely get better and can definitely get out of their slump. But, right, I definitely agree with you. The last 2 weeks, it hasn't been great. And I'll be honest, I was upset in Atlanta, right? Even though we were losing, there was no urgency from the offense.
Nothing.
In the quarter, nothing. It was almost as if they were up 28-14 and they were just wasting clock.
To make sure nobody else got hurt. That's what it felt like.
Like, to make sure nobody got hurt. And it was frustrating, right? Because I'm like, you're down by 2 touchdowns. Potentially, you can go and get a drive. They had like a 7-minute drive that, like, from like 11 minutes in the game, and it went down after the drive. It was like 5 minutes left, and they didn't put up any points.
Yep.
They potentially could put up points. Hypothetically, if the Niners scored a touchdown, their defense makes a stop, you still have a chance for one of those Jimmy Garoppolo late drive plays.
Yeah, those weird, like, pulling out of his ass type Jimmy Garoppolo victories.
Yeah. Like, whatever, like voodoo magic, Jimmy Garoppolo scores a touchdown late, the offense, like Tom Brady magic-ish type stuff with Jimmy Garoppolo.
Yeah.
Right? We've seen it before. But there was no urgency from the offense. The offense was just like, all right, like, taking long time in the huddle. Like, there was no urgency from this offense. It was almost like the Niners gave up at a certain point. Like, they just like, all right, game's over. Like, we're not winning. Like, you didn't see the fight from the 49ers. And that's something that bothered me on Sunday. But I think, like I said, it definitely helps to get a guy like Christian McCaffrey. It definitely helps to get a guy like Trent Williams back. But this offense just has to get into a rhythm. And the sooner they're able to do that, the sooner this offense will be able to be successful and dominant and be able to put up points. And that definitely helps with the defense, because this defense, as much as it's great, we saw it last week in Atlanta. They've had some injuries, and if you expect your Niners defense to be dominant every single week and only hold a team to like 10 points, it's not going to happen.
They only held them, even with all the injuries that they had. They had 7 or 8 starters out. Yeah. They still only held them to 2 offensive touchdowns, and we still couldn't beat them.
Yeah,
That's how lackadaisical and unproductive and any words you could say that's negative about the 49ers offense, they were just bad.
they were bad.
I want to put this out here because Tito Joseph says he wants to put it out there. I'm putting this in the air. He says we need to improve, or we need to be major injury free for the rest of the year. Yeah, dude, this little spell that we're going through right now needs to be it.
Yeah,
We need to be relatively healthy down the stretch. We can't depend on the defense if they have 7 or 8 starters out. It's just not possible. The offense needed to step up last week and be the reason what we won, and they couldn't do it. And I think teams figure if our running game isn't working and our defense isn't kicking butt, then we have no chance in winning. And Jimmy kind of proved that last week. He played okay. He made a crucial interception towards the end of the game, and there was no, like you said, there was no urgency on offense. So, you know, maybe with McCaffrey, he's the thing that unlocks the whole deal. You know, we opened Pandora's box, but instead of it being a negative opening Pandora's box, it's like a super huge positive. So we'll see.
Yep, and I think Jimmy played fine in that Falcons game, even despite the interceptions. But that's the thing, right? Atlanta was a game that you should have won, and you weren't able to capitalize on that. You just simply weren't able to. And that was a game that you were favored on paper. You were favored matchup-wise. Like, that was a game that you should have won. We should have been 4-2, but things didn't go the Niners' way because of self-inflicted wounds. The Niners just constantly shooting themselves in the foot, penalties, missed tackles on third downs, making stupid mistakes, like receivers dropping passes, like just dumb mistakes. But that's like I said a couple of weeks ago on the show, Aaron, is that, like, look at this game, for example, against Kansas City. You need your offense to step up. You need your offense to step up in these situations. And hypothetically, if the Niners want to make it to the Super Bowl and they're in the Super Bowl, like, you need your offense to step up in those games against high-powered offenses because most likely you're playing the Bills or the Chiefs or the Chargers that has a high-powered offense. So as much as, yes, this defense is dominant, as the offense, you also have to put up points. You also have to put up points and produce points and, move the ball downfield. And last week, they simply weren't able to do that. And like I said, if you expect your defense to be dominant every single week and, have a dominant game and not allow the opposing offense to score, 15 or plus points and expect them to just dominate the offense, like, yes, there are certain weeks that will happen. But when it doesn't happen and your defense is struggling, like, then it's up to the offense to step up and do their thing. And the offense wasn't able to do that last week. And I think Jimmy Garoppolo, I don't think he did bad last week, so I'm not going to diss Jimmy Garoppolo for that completely. But that's this test, right? That's the test for this whole entire season. That's the test that, like, we'll see if this 49ers team, if they do make, I think they are still Super Bowl contenders, but can they beat a team like the Kansas City Chiefs? Can they beat a team like the Buffalo Bills? Because those are most likely the teams you're going to play in the Super Bowl, and that's going to be a test also this week. Because I know Mahomes is going to put up points. I don't want to go into
yeah.
Right? We know Mahomes is going to put up points, especially with the injuries. Like, Mahomes is, I could say confidently, Mahomes is going to at least put up 20 plus, like, guaranteed. So
I
now,
agree.
offensively, what are you going to do? Can the offense step up? Can Jimmy Garoppolo step up? Can the offense step up? And that's what we're going to find out on Sunday. We're going to find out is, can this offense step up? Because this defense, as much as I love this defense and as much as how great it's been playing, like, we know Kansas City and Patrick Mahomes, especially after the way they lost against the Bills, they're going to come out and they're going to put up points offensively. So we'll see what happens. Like, we'll see what happens. But that's the test. If the defense struggles and they're not having their best game, can the offense step up and make up for the lack of defense, if that makes sense?
Me and Jesse talked about it last night as we looked ahead to the Chiefs game, and Jesse said pretty much plainly, without it breaking down many matchups or anything, we have to play keep away.
Yeah.
We have to run the ball, eat up clock, and score.
That's the only way you're beating Kansas City.
And we have to have the type of defense where we come on the field and we rush the passer and we get after Mahomes and we make it difficult for him. You know, the more we control the clock in this game and the more we are keeping their offense on the sideline, the better chance we have. We can't win a shootout with Patrick Mahomes. I don't think we can, even if Lance is playing right now, because I don't think Lance maybe would have been at that level yet. But then again, I could be wrong. We don't know because he isn't playing. That's Mahomes and the Chiefs are special. They're special. He's one of the best quarterbacks. He's in the top 3, maybe in the top 2. And it's him and Allen right now as top quarterbacks in the NFL. we're playing a future Hall of Fame quarterback. And I know people say, oh, I don't know about that. He's that good.
Yeah.
They had a bad game against Buffalo, or he had a bad ending to that game in Buffalo. So he's going to come out pissed off. Kelsey's a matchup nightmare. The Niners linebackers have to be on their game. This just to me, the game plan is keep away, run the ball, score when you have it, and when the defense is on the field, you got to get after Mahomes and not allow them to break the pocket. I want to address something that Ryan from No Border Sports said. He said that the outside zone run is back. He's been kind of harping on that, and now we finally have somebody who can kind of hit the corner and maybe get that outside zone run, because we've been doing a lot of it between the tackles and trap plays, but the Niners outside run game has been kind of non-existent because we just don't have a guy that can hit the edge quickly. Since Elijah Mitchell was pretty quick. Of course, Breida and Mozart were lightning fast, but I'm just happy that we have someone who can be a threat in the outside zone run game. Like Rinjin said it best, run the ball hard now. So hopefully we can get the best. Our offensive line can play its best. I think McGlinchey's going to play. I think Trent Williams is going to play. So yeah, the game plan is keep away, score when you have it, and get after the passer and make him make a mistake. We have to capitalize. This game, I'll know right away if the Niners are going to have the stones to keep up. They have to, like, if they get the ball immediately in this game, or they get the ball, they got to score. If they can, they're not going to match it score for score. That's just Kansas City's that prolific. I'm sure D'Amico Ryans will have guys ready to go, and he'll have some stuff. But at the end of the day, talent usually wins out. So,
and capitalize on your opportunities.
Yeah, like, you got to score. You can't kick field goals,
score, right? And that's the thing, right? If you have a long drive and you're controlling clock and you're not putting up points, I don't even care. Like that don't matter.
You get the doors blown off of us,
right? Like you'll get killed. If you have long drives and you're able to control clock, you have to put up points. You simply have to put up points. And especially like if Patrick Mahomes makes a mistake and you get an interception and you're at like the 40-yard line or you're at midfield, you have to put up points.
Go for it on a fourth down. Do it.
Like, you have to put up points because Mahomes is the type of guy, like you said, and like we all know, he could beat you with like 13 seconds left on the clock. Like Mahomes is that special.
Hell, he could probably do it with less than that.
He is ridiculous. He is ridiculous, right? Like Mahomes is like phenomenal, and pure talent wise, like Mahomes is one of the best of all time.
Mm-hmm. And he's still got a long time to go too.
Yeah, pure just talent, right? Forget about accomplishments, but just pure talented thrower of the football, who could throw far, like just pure talents of what he could do, arm slots and everything. Mahomes is one of the best of all time.
Reminds me of John Elway a lot. I want to say to Brian Culp and David McNew, because that was the other guy that I was talking about. I got to have you guys as part of a roundtable, or maybe you can join our NWO discussion. Maybe one of you guys can join me and Amin next week. I see you guys on a lot of stuff, and I want to start incorporating you guys and bringing you guys on. I don't know if you guys have your own channels. And if you do, that's even a bigger reason I'd like to have you guys on. But I'm starting to see you guys a lot in people's. I think you guys are part of the Wolf. Something 40. You guys can put it in the comments for me. It's something like Wolf Pack, 49er Wolf Pack. Give me. Yeah, I forget the name of the channel. But I've seen you guys, and I would like to collaborate and have you guys as part of the discussion. I'm all about new voices and getting other people's opinions out there. So just thought I'd share that real quick. Let's talk about the injuries and returns and concerns. Trent Williams looked like he could go. There's still not a positive, one way or the other. It looks like there's a possibility because of the Niners not activating Barrett to play, that Charvarius Ward is going to play. Looks like Nick Bosa is going to play. Hufanga hopefully is going to play. Jimmy Ward looks like he might play with the cast. I'm not sure. What one, are you excited that we were getting some reinforcements back? And two, what guy means the most to you as far as excitement? I'm going Chavarius Ward. What's your dude?
I'm going Travis Ward, just pure excitement, right? Because if he couldn't play against Kansas City, like that would have been tough, right? I bet you after he signed with the Niners, like that was one game that he had marked on this calendar. Week 7 against the Kansas City Chiefs, his former team. So one guy that I'm really looking forward to see is obviously Travis Ward, who I think is definitely will probably have the biggest impact in this game. I would say Trent Williams, because it definitely helps to have a guy like Trent Williams against his Chiefs defense. Even though his Chiefs defense isn't like phenomenal or like, top 5 or whatever, but it definitely helps to have a guy like Trent Williams back in the lineup against the Kansas City Chiefs. So I think who will have the biggest impact, I think Trent Williams will, but who am I most excited to see back out there? I would say Travis Ward, because I really wanted to see him play this game, his former team, and I'm glad hopefully he'll be able to, and I think most likely he will be able to. But I definitely know Travis Ward marked this game on his calendar before the season started, because he wants some revenge on the Chiefs. So I'm definitely looking forward to seeing what Travis Ward will do on Sunday. Hopefully it's an interception off Patrick Mahomes' return for a pick 6 or an interception. Something. I'll take anything, right? A forced fumble, anything, right? Anything that you can do to cause havoc or do something, create a turnover, force a turnover, I'll be happy. But I'm definitely looking forward to seeing Travis Ward back out there against his former team and seeing the Silverback out there once again. He's missed a couple of weeks, but I'm definitely looking forward to seeing him out there. It's nice. The Niners are getting their guys back, so I'm definitely happy about that.
Real quick before I hit the super chat, where did I see? Where is he? No Border Sports made a good point, and I was thinking about it because we're down 2 defensive tackles, not just 1, 2, and I don't know when each guy is going to play, if they're going to play anytime soon. If there's one more thing I'd like to see the 49ers address before the trade deadline or a free agent, or I don't know, is that interior defensive lineman. Um, one, for depth and rotation, and 2, just because we need more bodies. We're down 2 starters. We have Samson Ebukam back and Bosa, but man, I don't think people realize how much of a nuisance Armstead is when he plays with Bosa. It's such a great 1-2 combination. Kinlaw, he's a space eater. He helps in the run game, but to me, Armstead is the one that I really worry about. He's having issues with both feet, apparently. He had, I don't know if there's an ankle, and he's also dealing with plantar fasciitis. And then, of course, we already know that Kinlaw's knee is whatever because he's got chronic knee issues. So that's one thing, I thought maybe he would get past it this year, but that wasn't the case. Real quick, Bruce Kuhn. Is it Kuhn or Kun? I had a bus driver with the last name and we called him Kun. But Kun or Kuhn? If McCaffrey and everyone stays healthy, we will destroy the Eagles in the NFC Championship. Bruce, I love your optimism. Thank you for the super. I want to get there first. Well, let's take the Chiefs one game at a time. To me, that's the only way you can look at it. One game at a time. Right now, our obsession, our fascination should be with Kansas City. But I think we can beat them if we play them in the NFC Championship game. But we got to get there first. It's a long season, man. It's a lot of attrition. Anything could happen. The Eagles could ever. They don't get hurt a lot, unlike us. So there's a good chance they will be there, but we'll see. We still got a long time to go. And as far as Corey Davis's question, yes, we are very excited. We talked about it pretty long, probably 20 minutes. Don't know how much of him we're going to see, Corey, this week, just because he just got there. But in the weeks to come, especially after the bye week, I think that's when we're really going to see some fireworks. It says, plus Sue is a vet. Let him teach the guy some things. Yeah, I'm always for it. I wouldn't be against a guy like Sue coming in.
Yeah.
David McNew says, my stream is fully set up. My channel is currently my name, but I plan on starting account Goo. Goo. Good. Yeah, Goo. That's awesome, dude. I'll definitely subscribe. Definitely. I guess we'll jump over to one question that I wanted to ask you. And that is Brandon Ayuk a number one receiver?
Like, are we talking NFL wise or just for the Niners?
Just in the Niners in general, I think we saw some things last week that showed if the Niners actually made an effort and schemed things and had a quarterback who was able to read the field, he showed us some things. I think Debo is our best playmaker, but to me, Ayuk is a number one. I mean, his route running is dirty. Jesse said it the best. If you watch him on film, he usually goes up against the team's top corner and he usually cooks them. So, I mean, what's your opinion on him?
I know people won't like this, and I think some people will agree with me, some people won't agree with me. But if we're talking about just simply the Niners, I think Ayuk is a straight up better receiver than Deebo Samuel. Like,
Oh, I agree.
I don't even think it's close. Like, I think Ayuk is hands down. If you're talking about right route running, being able to catch the football, like, I think Ayuk is just better. Like, just hands down, like, simply just better than Deebo Samuel. Now, I still think Deebo Samuel, like you said, is the best playmaker, best, gadget player. Like, yes, he definitely is that. And I think Deebo is definitely more important to
He's
this
more valuable for
He's
sure.
more valuable to this offense. He has a bigger role in this offense. But just pure wide receiver number one, I think Ayuk is that. And he has the skill sets to be wide receiver number one on other teams as well, like the Jacksonville Jaguars and other teams. But Ayuk, man, like, the route running is there, the ability to catch the football is there, everything is there, right? The skill sets, the skills are all there. The thing about Ayuk is that as much as I think he had a great game against the Falcons, I just don't know how often Jimmy will be able to get him the football, right? And even if you look at like the Atlanta game, like he got some screen passes, like he got his targets, but I don't know if how often Jimmy Garoppolo will be able to get the football to Ayuk, and that's my only concern, right? And going into the season, I was like, Ayuk is probably going to have a better season than Deebo Samuel if we're just talking about receiving yards, right? Like, I think Ayuk will have potentially could have 1,300 receiving yards or have over 1,000-yard season receiving if you're talking in terms of receiving yards because Trey Lance was there and you saw the preseason clips, you saw them working out in the offseason, right?
Yep.
And Ayuk has a skill set to be 1,000-yard receiver from, like I said, the route running and everything. The skills are all there. But now with Jimmy Garoppolo, the question is, how involved will he be in this offense? And can Jimmy Garoppolo get in the football? We definitely saw him involved in that Falcons game.
Mm-hmm.
Will that be a consistent thing, number one? And number two is, can Jimmy Garoppolo get in the football? And those are my only two question marks. But I definitely do think Ayuk is a wide receiver number one. I think Ayuk, like I said, the skill set's all there. Route running is there. That route that he had, I think it was on AJ Terrell or someone in that Falcons game. Like, that was nasty.
Oh, it's incredible.
Right, so Ayuk is there. And I definitely think he's a better receiver than Deebo Samuel, even though Deebo is more important to this offense. He has a bigger role. But Ayuk is definitely wide receiver number one. My only question is, like I said, how involved will he be in the offense week to week? And can Jimmy Garoppolo get him the football? If Jimmy Garoppolo can do that, right, consistently, I think Ayuk will definitely have a better season, put up better stats. But like I said, Ayuk definitely has a skill set. It's just the two question marks that I mentioned with the offense, how involved he'll be in Jimmy Garoppolo. But Ayuk, he definitely is a wide receiver number one, hands down.
I think it comes full circle again back to Trey Lance. Just the fact how much time they spent in the offseason, how much chemistry that they built. And I would have loved to see that maturation happen naturally over the course of the season. But again, like we talked about before, we're going to have to wait another year. I know Jesse and me talked again. I know I keep bringing up Jesse. We were talking about the NFC Championship game, how he ran a lot of wide open routes that just weren't thrown. Jesse made a good point to say the Niners are not. Kyle Shanahan is not an aggressive downfield passer. The Niners are a run first team. The Niners, if the run is successful, they will kill the run. They will continue to attack it. Even if wide open plays or plays are there to be made downfield, Kyle Shanahan just doesn't. That's not his thing. Is running the football. We are a run first team. I think we are, even when Trey comes next year, I think we'll still be run first, which is fine because it protects the quarterback. But yeah, to me, he's a true number one. He's got he might be only 5'11", 6 foot, but he's got, the length of arms of someone like a Megatron, 6'4", super long, sticky hands. The Niners, man, I wish someone like Danny Gray was playing and they could take the top off the defense. Unfortunately, he had temper tantrum issues with Jimmy Garoppolo. So he might be in the doghouse right now, from what Jesse was telling me. I never really knew that there was that much of a meltdown with the two of them, but apparently there was. So
Well,
there's always
Ray McLeod ran that route, right? I was like, wait,
where's Danny Gray?
Like, where's Danny Gray? Like, I thought
Right.
that's what they drafted him for, right? Like, for that specific
Exact
route,
play.
those plays. But then I was like, Ray McLeod, like, okay, like, where's Danny Gray? Like, I don't see him on the sideline. Where's Danny Gray?
So me and you, we got about 10 minutes left because I know you got to run. So I wanted to ask you real quick what your thoughts are about the 2012 reunion that's coming. I don't know when it is, if it's this weekend or whenever it's coming. First of all, you're kind of young, so the 2012 season, you probably don't have much memory of it. I do. It was a long time in coming, those 4 years with Harbaugh. Looking forward to seeing any particular players that you can remember, whether it's Willis, Bowman.
I mean, I would say Willis, because ever since I was younger, like, my cousins had Patrick Willis jerseys. I've heard a lot about Patrick Willis, and I watched Patrick Willis like the first season. Like, the first season I was watching, when I first started watching Niners football, like I said, was 2015. But I did watch games occasionally, like 2014, 2013, and Patrick Willis was a stud. Like, he was
Oh, they're
phenomenal, right?
incredible. The two of him and Bowman were.
Just brief memories of watching Patrick Willis. He was a baller, right? And I remember watching Navarro Bowman. So that's definitely a player that I definitely remember watching. Now, his career was, when I really started watching Niner football, the Niners released Navarro Bowman, which was like, whoa, you would let go of Navarro Bowman at the time. Like, I didn't know why they did that. But it's definitely cool to see the 2012 team, reunite. And we've seen that in baseball, like with the Giants, their World Series team also reunited, right? Like, and they had a reunion. So, like,
the only thing is, we're not celebrating a championship. That's the only thing that's kind of weird about this, is we're celebrating a losing team. I'm not saying that you can't celebrate. I just think that it's kind of weird that they're celebrating a team that didn't win. But go on.
No, but the team was definitely good, right? It was definitely great.
Oh, they were fantastic.
And that's the thing, right? If I had to put this 2019 Super Bowl team against the 2012 Niners team, the 2012 Niners team, it wouldn't be close. Like, that 2012 Niners team would beat the 2019 Niners team.
Yeah,
like,
no doubt.
I don't even think it's close. Colin Kaepernick was phenomenal that year. You had Alex Smith, right? Like, so that 2012 team was great. Jim Harbaugh, there's been things going on Twitter with Jim Harbaugh. People are like, Jim Harbaugh this, Jim Harbaugh that. Like, Jim Harbaugh is trending in 49ers Twitter land right now. But I'm definitely looking forward to it. Obviously, the excitement is still mainly focused on that Chiefs game.
Oh, yeah.
But it's still definitely great to see them reunite. And even though that team didn't win a Super Bowl, that team is still really, really good. And that team still deserves credit for what they did on the 49ers. Even though I get it, they didn't win a championship, but that team still definitely deserves to be recognized, and definitely deserves to have their own reunion. So 2012 team was definitely great, and I think it's great that they're having a reunion on Sunday.
It'll be cool to see Alex Smith. And even Coach Harps, he's going to actually be in the building, which is going to be kind of strange. A lot of, I don't know if it was Grant Cohn or someone who had the comment like, well, do you think they're flirting, and is it are they undermining Kyle Shanahan? Listen, it's just a reunion. Everybody settle down. I don't see Harbaugh ever coming back here until Jed York would not have to be in control anymore for that to ever happen. And then we'll wrap it up. The one last thing I'll ask you before I let you get out of here so you can go to dinner with your family is Sunday a must win?
I don't think it's a must-win game for the 49ers, but I think, like we said it in the beginning of the show, and like we said, I think not the beginning, but the middle of the show, is that this is a prove-it game for the 49ers. And what I mean by that is this is a prove-it game specifically not only for the defense, but also for the offense as well. Because we haven't seen the defense go up against this high elite-level offense before.
Right.
And the Chiefs are the Chiefs are the number one offense in the league. They've been putting up an average of 29.8 points per game. Right?
Ridiculous.
So we haven't seen that before. We haven't seen them go up against a number one defense before. And then the other thing is talking about.
Oh, you muted yourself, buddy.
Oh, my bad. So the thing about this offense is that we know this defense. They're gonna try to do their thing. But the defense, like we said about in the middle of the show, and that we both agreed on, is that Patrick Mahomes is gonna put up points. He's going to put up points. We know that. So now, if the defense doesn't have as dominant of a game or as great of a game, can the offense step up? So this is a proven game for the offense in terms of if the defense is allowing more points than usual, can the offense step up and go toe to toe with an elite offense? And defensively, this is going to be, I think, the 49ers probably one of their first real tests of the season, because they really haven't gone up against their great offenses or good offenses. Like the Broncos, they're all right. They're struggling offensively. Chicago's all right offensively. The Falcons weren't great offensively, but you had injuries. So this is a prove-it game, not only for the defense, but for the offense as well. So we'll see what happens. I think obviously, like Brian says, every game is a game that you probably should try to win, and every game you could say is a must-win game. But the way that the NFC is right now, like, it's wide open. Like, you're sitting at 3-3 and you're still number one in the division and you're still like competing for a playoff spot. Now, if this was the AFC, I'd be a little bit more concerned. But now, since it's the NFC, I think the Niners still definitely have a shot. But this is a prove-it game for the offense and the defense for sure.
This is a barometer game. This will prove kind of where the Niners are, where they need to be. I know within the building, they're saying that the 49ers brass believes that this team has a chance. So this is really about the Niners putting it all together. If the Niners can come somehow, I say it every week, somehow stay healthy and stick in this game, and who knows, maybe steal a game against the Chiefs. I think it'd be great. Brian Culp made a good point. Every game should be a must win. Jesse said that he would be more concerned if they lost a game against the Rams, and that if they lost this game, it wouldn't be the end of the world. So I kind of see both sides of the argument. Mainly because you wanted to keep staying ahead in that division. I feel like the Niners, if they can somehow, scuffle their way to a 500 record for a while, and then maybe towards the back half of the season, kind of pull away, and listen, if we get to a point in the season where we're going to be a playoff team and we can't really improve our seeding, to me, that's the perfect time to start resting guys and letting other guys play. So in a way, I mean, if the Niners were the number one seed, then we could do that and we could lock things up and guys could rest. But seeing how the Niners are going to probably have to fight through it, if they could end up somehow getting this division and making it to where maybe the last couple of weeks of the season, they can't improve their seeding and maybe they are the fourth seed, I would be fine with that. So to me, winning the division is number one priority because that guarantees you a playoff spot. But I would love us to at least. I would love us to beat Kansas City, but I want us to be competitive in this game. If we get the doors blown off of us Sunday, it'll be very concerning. You're right. Our defense hasn't gone against anybody of really any caliber yet, other than the Rams. But the Rams aren't really the Rams. They really only have really one offensive player, maybe two with Higbee. So that's kind of hard to measure. But I'm looking forward to this Sunday, as I always do. Now that I'm laid up with my knee, I don't really have much going on. So I might be a little bit more busy on the channel. Who knows? Maybe I'll do a show tomorrow. Probably won't, but who knows? Maybe I will. But it'll be interesting, guys. This is a huge test for us. I really hope we can pull it out. But for me, staying healthy and keeping healthy the rest of the way, or not having any more real big, serious season-ending injuries, is kind of my biggest focus. So I'm looking forward to Sunday, but at the same time, it's not the end of the world if you lose. To me, that division is the most important thing, and getting healthy down the stretch if we make it that far. So I just want to say thanks to everybody that's been here tonight. We're going to cut this thing going because my boy Bashar's got to get out of here, but I just want to say thanks to everybody in the chat who supported and was part of the chat. Me and Amin really do appreciate it.
Definitely do.
Thanks for the super chat for those that donated, and just thanks for all the comments and people who come to my streams every single time I have them, regardless if I'm on it or not, and support me regardless, support Amin regardless. As far as David McNew and Brian Culp, I will hit you guys up probably if you guys have Twitter. I think Brian has an Instagram. And we'll try to figure something out as far as maybe collaborating or something. So everybody have a great rest of your night. Stay safe, stay healthy, go Niners. And us too, we'll see you next Friday.